Any other questions?
Can I just ask you a bit about the working with babies? I think
Yes.
Asha mentioned birth traumas. Because my grandson had terrible traumas, as many babies do, and the craniosacral therapy really helped.
Yes, craniosacral therapy. In Ireland, if you were to say you're a craniosacral therapist, people say, oh, that's the babies, isn't it? And you kind of have to say, yeah. So it's known in Ireland as being therapy for babies. So yes, we work with birth trauma. Things like colic, problems with thriving, sleeping, all of that. It's very good because as you come through the birth canal, your cranial bones are shaped by that, but often there is birth trauma. Sometimes it goes unnoticed even, and it's not picked up by anybody, and the baby is displaying inability to thrive, or not being able to sleep, or not being able to eat, or things like that. So the craniosacral helps the tissues to release. And the beauty about working with the baby is it happens very fast. Their tissues are so fresh, you know. But you can release birth trauma at any age. So part of your training is you have to go through all of this. So you experience your own birth stuff. So you can experience release of your birth trauma at any point. Just because you're this age now doesn't mean that it's impossible to release what happened to you.
And also the mums who have to give birth are actually very traumatic cesarean sections to all emergencies.
And the thing about mums that bring babies is often they forget themselves, or they're so worried about their babies that they don't book themselves in, or you suggest maybe you can have half an hour of the session for you, and they just want you to focus on the baby. So it can be as traumatic for the mom.
Do you work with babies?
I do. Now I don't see a lot of them, to be honest. You find that. So every single craniosacral practitioner, we've all been trained the same way, but it's like any of you who are practitioners here. Whatever you have experienced in your own life kind of creates a filter, and also the work that you've done in yourself kind of creates this environment that you attract certain people to. So I tend to work a lot with, I suppose, grown-ups of all ages who are experiencing maybe, physical problems, obviously, but also people who may be feeling stuck, or who've had traumas that are impinging on their lives. I also work with young children and teenagers, and I do see babies, but I'm not. Some practitioners you find are seeing babies all the time. They have 5 or 6 babies a day. I'm not one of those, but I do see babies. I usually have 1 or 2.
I just thought it was wonderful that it worked.
It's amazing,
because,
it's
just
wonderful.
the baby was just screaming all day and all night. And I think she had 3 sessions.
Usually it's 3 sessions.
Does it help with bipolar and ADHD? Because there's a lot of teenagers now, suffering, struggling, labeling.
So another thing, just the lady asked about bipolar and ADHD. Another thing to look at will be nutrition and gut microbiome. And Susie would know more about that than I would.
So what was that second part?
The microbiome of the gut when it comes to bipolar and ADHD. Susie would know more about that than I would. I can't comment on that. But craniosacral, yes, can help.
What you just said about nutrition, and everything's processed nowadays, so it's hard to get the right nutrition into it.
Yeah, it is. Definitely.
So I said, if you can, you need to try and help grow, don't you? And things like that.
Well, Susie's the expert on that. Any other questions?
Is it free?
How long is the session?
Pardon?
How long is the session?
How long is the session? So an hour. And part of that hour will be, the first time you would come, it will be a consult, which means I have to take your medical information and history and all of that. And any subsequent consultations, we'd have a chat for 5 or 10 minutes before you get on the couch. But the session lasts, between you coming in the door and leaving, an hour.
Is it ever free?
Pardon?
Is it ever free?
Is it ever free?
Yes, I've got money.
Not in this country, unfortunately, yet. Anyway, it should be though.
On the NHS.
Yeah, it should be. I know that in Austria, they had CranioSacral therapists working in hospitals, and they tried to do something about that in Ireland, but I don't know what happened.
Might happen one day, but I doubt it. The NHS being so stretched. They prefer to give you drugs.
How many people are trained in it in the UK? Have you got a rough idea of how many?
I don't know how many people are trained in the UK. I'm up-ledger trained, but I have done biodynamic training as well, a little bit of it. So there are different schools of craniosacral therapy. It's the same thing, but we are influenced differently. And I've listed the schools on the sheet. But if you wanted to find out, I'm sure if you went into all of their, not their websites, but into their, so when you're a therapist, you have to be a member of an association, a professional body. And if you go into the professional bodies, you'll see, you know.
Sorry, I've got two questions. It's not the same as a dynamic healer, this, is it?
No.
And the other question was more from an interest point of view. When you said about the glial cells in the brain,
Yes.
it's like it's its own lymphatic system.
Yes.
So do they take, obviously your normal lymphatics are going to take any waste away through your lymph nodes and disperse it that way. So do the glial cells take it to join to the normal lymphatic system, or is it its complete own system?
So, yes, we're getting very technical.
I'm sorry, but I'm
no,
just
you're
interested.
okay. I just hope I won't remember everything, right? So, my understanding is the glial cells inform the neurons and they protect the neurons. So, if anything goes on, they rush to the site. Yeah. The cerebrospinal fluid bathes the brain and flushes the brain. So, the two of them together is my understanding. But if you go on YouTube, I'm sure you'll get some brilliant videos that will explain it much better.
It's just with the majority of brain tumours and glioblastomas, so is that to do with the same name of the cells, do you think?
Probably.
Glial.
Yeah, glial. I mean, yeah, it will make sense. Thank you very much for having me. And, if any of you have any questions, feel free to contact me. I've left some leaflets here if anyone wants a leaflet. I'm happy to answer questions anytime. So
It's really fascinating.
I've learned a lot today that I didn't know just from them.
yeah, this is still, it's so still. It's so still. When people see it, they think, oh, she's doing Reiki. But it's very much an internal thing that's going on, isn't it?
Well, the funny thing is that every treatment has been different.
That's the other
And
thing.
the very first one, my arms and legs were all over the place, twitching. Absolutely nuts. Yes. And then gradually that subsided, and now it is so it was relaxing then, silly as that sounds, but now it is so relaxing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Every session is different.
Yes.
Because we're literally going in with this idea of we're listening and we're holding the space, we're listening, we're following your body, we're following your inner wisdom. And the whole idea is as well is that my inner wisdom or the therapist's inner wisdom and the client's inner wisdom work together. So
I'd just like to say that I feel the best I've felt in weeks, and I don't know if it's a collective energy, the way that you spoke about I went into kind of a meditation as you were speaking, and everybody kind of went blowing with the energy, and I feel something I've not comfortable in. It's the best that I've felt in absolute weeks, just to be here, so I don't know if it's a collective, you speaking, the energy, but I feel the best that I've felt in weeks, so just speaking, so thank you so much. I know I'm meant to be here, thank you, Christine.
Yes.
Thank you.
I always give you the prompt.
I know.